Hello everyone and welcome to Twitch Tales, episode 9 of season 4? Oh Fey. Pronounced Oh Fey. You see the double meaning there? See the double meaning? I love it. I was so proud of this episode. I'm so proud of this title. Because it means to know a lot about a thing. To be fully informed about a thing. And it's also pronounced Oh Fey. Do you get it? I'm pretty impressed. Anyway, where did we leave off in the last episode? You're adorable. In the last episode, Apis was surrounded by trees, surrounded by moving trees in the wilderness of the Great Expanse. So, Apis had been following an old gentleman by the name of the Gravedigger, who was leading you to a place where he had recognized some necromancy, some animation of the dead. He showed you an old graveyard where he used to bury people until they started moving and creeped him out, so he stopped burying people there. He showed you that there were many graves that people were pulling themselves out of when you arrived, and there was also a giant pit in which he'd thrown like body parts. He'd come across this devastation of great proportions a little bit further to the north, and in ferrying all of the body bits back, he had no way of knowing to whom each of the body parts belonged, so he couldn't bury them individually. So to avoid the afterlife, the spirits being awkwardly misformed in the afterlife, he just thought it was best to bury all of the body parts together in a pit. You approached this pit and it had climbed out and made this sort of unholy amalgamation of body parts and attacked you. You had just survived the fight and run off to a hut, a nearby shack, the once Gravedigger's house, and you started your short rest there. While you were short resting, though, there was a sound of screaming, a woman screaming in danger. Apis had a very good consideration that this may well be a trap, but knowing that there is even a small possibility that it's not, Apis decided to opt into falling for the trap and went to investigate. It did turn out to be a trap, and it was a trap set by plants, no less. Not cannibalist, because that would mean eating themselves. What's the word? Carnivorous plants. Carnivorous, blood-sucking plants, vampiric plants. They triggered their ambush with leaf blight, animated leaves that can flick past you at razor-sharp speeds, cutting into you and drawing blood for the vines to then wrap around and suck out of you. You found a giant sort of pitcher plant, sort of bell-shaped thing that was filling with gas and then expelling it through a mouth that would make this sort of screeching sound that sounded like a woman screaming in order to lure you into the trap. There was no woman present. You fought with oil and fire arrow and tooth and nail to survive, and you managed to get out of there. You made your way back to the shack, the Gravedigger's hut, and luckily you found that all of the evil vampiric plants were outside of this shack, unable to enter through the threshold of the door, despite it being open. Because, as you remembered from your childhood stories, your mother was great with stories, you remember there being talk of vampires having a hard time entering an abode if they are not specifically invited in. So you stepped over the threshold yourself and kept safe in the knowledge that the plants were not to be invited in. You had a long rest. You rested by the campfire and regained all of your spell slots and hit points and such. I believe that's where we ended. Was there anything else that we did in the morning? I don't believe there was, right? We just ended up in the morning, didn't we? As we wake up from the long rest, can we think back on the things we know about the Feywild? A mini lore dump or history check? We absolutely can, ads, yes. So there is stuff that I will tell you regardless of what you get on this check, but I will get you to do an Arcana check to see what you remember about the magic of the Feywild. Because the Feywild is a different plane of existence, it makes sense to be an Arcana check. So, I'm going to turn on the dice chem really quick. Let's use whichever one I find first. This one. Alright. There we go, make some space. We're going to be specifically thinking about the Feywild and things that we know about those. Pow! Alright, not bad. 12. Okay, so a 12 plus 3 for our plus 3 for our intelligence takes it to a 15. We are not proficient in Arcana. We do know a little because of our mother's stories and things, but we get a 15 total. So with a 15, what do we know about the rules of the Fey and such? We know that the Feywild is a plane of mania. There are... Would we know this with a 15? Yeah, we would probably have heard stories that the Feywild was possibly once the material plane, along with the Shadowfell. And the Feywild and the Shadowfell were split. And while one got all the contrast and all the black and white, all of the monochromatic side of things, the other got all of the saturation and all of the bright coloration. And while one is depression, one is mania, and they are the two sides of that sort of emotions in the world, and that sort of feelings and whatnot, that sort of monsters and things as well. So the Feywild, while the Shadowfell is about darkness, to the extreme, the Feywild is about color to the extreme, and that pervades through everything, through the creatures that live there, the music that comes from there, the way of living life. Everything there is a little manic, a little prankish, mischievous, sprightly. The pixies and the fairies, they all come from there, and they're all known for playing tricks, playing pranks. It is a plane of pranks in a great many ways. The people, the denizens, the creatures of the Feywild often see those of the material plane as a little too stuck up, a little too engaged with daily hubbub, and in thinking that they're doing them a favour, they will often mess with them to force them to stop and smell the roses. They will take a why so serious approach. Yes, they will even to the point that their pranks can become dangerous. They will have the opinion that, well, your wounds will heal, but your experiences of laughing at yourself will last much longer. So they will trip you off of the edge of a small cliff and break your legs if they feel like it's enough to make you slow down and enjoy life, or to experience life. They will play pranks. They will have you dance indefinitely until you die of exhaustion, potentially, if that's what they feel that's needed. They don't feel like the people of the material plane laugh at themselves enough. Often. Apis with 15 also knows that there are other creatures of the Feywild that the people of the material plane often refer to as the Unseelie. The ones that are a little more dark with their intent, even the ones that I was mentioning, those are the good ones, the ones that will trip you over and break your legs. The bad ones, those are the ones that the hags come from. The hags are Unseelie Fey. The darklings are Unseelie Fey. there are creatures there that would be... They take the mania and the... they take the love of the different to the extreme, which is why hag magic is so strange and weird and wonderful and horrible and awesome in the true intent of the word. They've taken the nature of the other Fae, which is the not conforming kind of side of things, and taken it to a dark, twisted extreme. What else would you know about the Feywild with a 15? You would know that customs are very strange there. The culture of the Fae is exceptionally difficult for creatures of the material plane to understand. You can agree to things there without realizing you have. You can, in the way you've asked for things, you can have agreed to something. You can owe somebody a favor there. There is currency in the Feywild, but it is not nearly as important as the favors that are curried. The main form of currency there, you would know, is in people owing you things, owing you favors, and compliments and things like that actually have almost tangible weight there. Compliments and insults, promises, deeds. These have importance there. What else would you know with a 15? You would know that the Feywild is run by a council of very powerful creatures called Archfey. You don't know much about them with a 15. You would know that the Merry Gentleman, a man in green, is one such Archfey. And he is the one that's asked you to come and visit him. Would we know anything about how best to engage? Would Apis' mum have told them about the rules? Apis' mum would have told you that if you ever find a Fae, she would have probably told you the rules of like engaging them on the material plane. And she would have probably told you, especially after the incident with Lokara when you were younger, she definitely would have doubled down on teaching you sort of safety around Fae. She would have told you not to accept anything. She would have told you that the best way to engage is to demand, not to ask. If you ask for something, then it is seen as a gift that they are complying with. If you say, can I have a cup of tea? That has a very different implication in the Feywild than I'll take a cup of tea, or I will have a cup of tea. The former has implications that the act of giving you a cup of tea is giving you the thing that you've asked for, and therefore giving you a favor of sorts, and therefore there is something in that you now owe them something in return. Whereas I will have a cup of tea, I will take a cup of tea, does not have that same implication. It's simply a statement of something that will happen, if that makes sense. So the way you choose to word your questions and your requests is important. If Apis is entertaining in one way or another, we could make some friends. We absolutely could. We could just not have tea. We're going to have to wield all of our conversations very carefully, methinks. Now, speaking off the cuff. I'm not going to slow things down by making you deliberate on every word of everything that you say, like we do with the dice. I will say that Apis, having rolled relatively well on the Arcana check now, with 15, you will have in mind all this going forward. You will try your best to keep this in mind. And if there is a point where I feel like chat has forgotten something like that, I will probably roll you a charisma check to see if you would remember your wording in the moment, something like that. I'd like to ask chat in advance, please be careful wording anything in speech marks today. Perhaps double check first because it's delicate. Hey Mosh, you're my trusted friend. We've been through some battles together. The longer I adventure, the more dangerous things appear that try to kill me, trick me, or kill others that I care about. But I've been worried, going to an Archfey to find a cure for Beradel and you. We're going to the Feywild, possibly the trickiest dealmakers of all, an Archfey. So before we go anywhere, think, what do you really want? And then we'll get it, carefully. Mosh says, thank you. I appreciate what you're doing for me, Apis. I know it's not a ideal circumstances to be sucked into my bullshit, but I appreciate having a friend to help. Of course, if there's anything I can do, I'm happy to help. I don't think that there's all we can do to handle that portal, all the things that are coming out of it. We need to warn the elves, we need to warn Shadridge. We're going to have to entrust that warning to you, Gravedigger. Alright. I didn't see what you saw though. Aye, but you saw enough. You've seen what's going on in this grave, and it's worse the closer you get to that mountain. All that I saw was flashes. I didn't see a great deal, but if you tell them what I've told you, they'll have to take you seriously. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and I think with my abilities, I need to go to the Feywild. I need to see if I can at least learn how to close portals. Mosh, if you come with me, we might be able to help you in Beladel too. It's risky, but I think it's our best chance. I don't know about going to the Feywild. If this guy can cure me, it might be worth it. But if he, I've heard things about the Feywild that I feel like it's dangerous to go there. What if I'm different there? What if I can't control it there? There's tricks and pranks, and what if one of them does something that makes me lose my mind or lose my control of it? What if I'm tricked into being into a situation where I choose to lose control of it? I'm just not sure I'm not sure what is happening. If I say some odd things claiming you as mine when we're there, if we go there, just know that I'm trying to prevent you from being treated as an object, belongings. Some fey creatures think of you as my friend or my bodyguard and not my possession, even if it sounds like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going yet. Yeah, I mean, nothing's set in stone. I don't know that I'm going either. I just think that things are pulling me that direction. I think that it's inevitable that we're going to end up there at some point. Is Mel doing okay? Yeah, Mel's fine. She's buzzing about. She had a long rest and healed up her wounds. Best case scenario, we take T by force. Worse, broken legs and play things for Hex. Got it. Panpipes could be clutch in the Feywild. It definitely could be. Panpipes will be what defeats the final boss. Any chance our constant panpipes playing as an extra +1? No, because you haven't practiced it. You need to take downtime to practice. The Archfey we eventually go into owes me a favour. I might be able to help. We'll have to see, I suppose. Are you still in? I can't say. I'm happy to help lead you there if that's where you're going, but I don't know if I'll step through myself. I'm hoping that Mosh will go protect Shadridge so our BFF stays safe. Could be, yeah. The next direction should be a poll. Yeah, we should probably put that to a poll now so that we know actually where we're going. All right. Let's say the next direction is. Do we go to the Fey portal? Do we go to the Feywild? Is that where we're going? Yes or no? And this is immediately. Do we go to the Feywild now? We might want to go to the Feywild later, but you might want to do other things first. The question is this the most important thing to do? Leave the Gravedigger to go and deliver the message and we go to the Feywild, yes or no? Can we check in the portal again, see if anything's changed in the day? Yeah, we could do so if you want. Do we want to check the portal? We've got a once per short rest ability to detect portals. I think it's because it's once per short rest, you can just have a half an hour sit down after you've used it if you really want to use it again. So in the morning, as you're deciding on the course of action and whether or not you're going to the Feywild right away or whether you want to go to something else first, maybe you want to go back to Shadridge or whatever, you take a second to focus on the feelings that you got from the portal that you saw yesterday. And almost immediately you are sucked from your body again and in that direction of the Lonely Mountain. There's trees whipping past. You're seeing snippets of movement and trees and rivers and rocks and until you slow down right at the same location as you were. There's an old dilapidated church, temple looking thing that's in ruins, and a graveyard with very eerie dark smoke around it. There's an odd darkness to this graveyard that shouldn't be this dark if it was this time of day. As it is, it's getting light, and the sun coming from where it should be over your right shoulder would be shining over the mountainside where you're looking, and it seems to be eerily quiet and dark in this graveyard. And there's a crypt in the center that seems to be spewing forth breaks in the void, breaks and voids in the fabric of space-time, and then whoosh, you are sucked back to your body. It seems very much the same or similar to how it was yesterday. And as soon as you arrive back, you realise you've made your decision that about 3/4 of Apus's mind, 77%, decides, yes, we're going to the Feywild. We've put it off long enough. We're going. Can we vote whether we try to convince Mosh to come with us or we tell him to stay? Yeah, I suppose so. Let's put that to a poll. Convince Mosh to come. Mosh is on the fence. So if you try to convince him, there's a good chance you can convince him to come. If you tell him to stay, there's a good chance he will stay. So do you want to convince Mosh to come with you to the Feywild? You would have Mel and Mosh if you went with him, and obviously he'd be there to help protect you in the Feywild, but you're putting him in danger of all of the things that he said he's concerned about. What if an Archfey decides, oh, this is a fun plaything, this werefox creature. For those who don't know, Mosh is a werefox, and is not happy about it. He was turned against his will about, I think it was like 9 months ago or something, 8 months ago or something like that. And he's looking for a cure and doesn't think that there is one. We don't know how the moon cycle works there. He might be stuck permanently out of control. If you arrive in the Feywild and find that there is a permanent full moon in the sky above you, who knows what that'll do for him. The Fae would find it amusing to force Mosh into his werefox form, so I'd rather not risk his safety. He could stay and go back to Shadridge, protect Shadridge, let our friends know where we've gone. I'd like to have him with us, but it makes sense to keep him on this plane. It is pretty much your decision because he's on the fence about it. He would like to visit the Archfey to get his curse removed, but he's also very wary of the dangers that he would put himself and you in by being there in an unknown place. Maybe you go there and see what the moon situation is first, or whatever. Alright, with 61% of the vote, Apus isn't quite as in one mind about this, but ultimately Apus decides to not convince Mosh to come. You say, right, well, let's see how you feel when we get there, but if you could come to the portal, and then when I cross, you're your own person, you can do what you wish at that point. It would obviously be very useful to have you in Shadridge to protect them and to take the message back with the Gravedigger and such. He says, I understand. Circumstances are dire. When the odds were decently even, it made sense to stay and help our friends, but we're facing a literal army here. We need something special. Closing that portal would at least cut off the growth of one of these problems. Has the married gentleman visited us on our plane? Or have we only seen him in the Feywild? He has been to this plane, but he has not been in your recent memory. Mosh can check on your horse. The horse that you bought and then just immediately left at a farm to forget about forever. Alright, so I guess do you want your horse in the Feywild? Is that a thing? Do you guys want to fetch your horse before going to the Feywild? Artax the horse. Arms, what was his arms? The meat shield or something. Arms, what was it? What was arms stand for? It was like something liability meat shield. Good old liability the horse. Dangerous to the Feywilds. Like, will we be mugged? Unlikely to be mugged, but pickpocketed, yes. All sorts of other shit, yes. Horses in your pocket? No, you don't have a horse pocket yet. Artax liability meat shield. And where's the Artax bit from? Was Artax the horse from Neverending Story? The one that dies in the swamp. We would have had more use of the horse if we weren't travelling with Mosh this whole time. No point having fast travel if your companion can't keep up. That's a good point. Let's leave most of our money here, maybe. That's also a consideration. Do we want to do anything with our money before we go to the Feywild? Do we want to go to our secret stash? The one that dies horribly, yes. Hence the name. Artax liability meat shield. Arms the horse. Where horse pooping in certain places might cause issues. Yep, there's a whole bunch of considerations for that horse. Horse is for travelling between major areas, not within them, I reckon. Lie back down to Fondurg. Right, so you just leave the horse with the farm until you come back, and then once you go down to Fondurg, you can grab your horse to do the trip between them. Is that the idea? All right, thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you want to stow some money before you go? Thumbs up, thumbs down. You do know that currency could be useful there, but they might use their own stuff. You're not 100% sure about the economy system. You do know that they're much more interested in favours and things than they are with money. So yes or no, do we want to drop off any money before going? Is a quiver of holding pickpocketable? You haven't tried. Alright, this is definitely a yes. You want to drop off some money first. So you're going to go to the riverbank, you're going to drop off some money before you go. Okay, so can we ask the quiver one of each type of item it contains to see if it had anything in it before we got it? You put your hand into the quiver as you set off walking with Mosh and the Gravedigger. You set off back towards the Four Sisters to start that journey. And on the way, you start doing some investigation of your quiver. You put your hand in and just say, one of every item, please, and nothing comes to your hand. And you're like, one arrow, please, and an arrow comes to your hand. And you're like, okay, so you got to ask for specifics. You could ask for 100 arrows. 100 arrows, please. You cannot draw 100 arrows, I think. Let me think how this works. You can't draw 100 arrows because it's not one item, but if you asked for one bundle of arrows and the arrows were bundled together, would that be one item? I think so. Yes, I think that would be the case. I think that's what you discover as you walk. You learn that if you ask for 100 arrows, nothing comes out. If you take out 10 arrows or whatever and you bundle them together with a string or a ribbon or something, and then you put it in, and then you ask for a bundle of arrows, it comes out as a bundle. So like if it can be grouped as an individual item, then you can bring it out. So a bag of coins is a single item, but calling out all of the individual coins loosely would not. Miss can't ask for 10 copper, you have to ask 10 times. You have to ask for a pouch of 10 copper, yeah. A pouch of coins. Yes, for 1 arrow 100 times. We've already done something similar, Vanguard, where we did that up to like 60 something, and then we gave up. We were like, there must be like infinite. No, we went up to 37, I think. We went up to 37 before we gave up, and we're like, we've got more than 37 arrows in there, and we gave up counting. A bundle made of one of each type of item, please. It didn't bundle the arrows for you. You had to take the arrows out, bundle them, and then put them back in the quiver before you could ask for the bundle of arrows. We dumped the coins in loosely. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You need to know what's in it before you can retrieve it, so our money should be safe in there. We could stash a few of the other things in there too. Stash the vials, potions, tusks, spare ring, maybe the caltrops. You ask for a ring. A ring comes out. It's a non-magical ring, but it is a ring. You've put jewelry in there before, and I don't think you got it all out. Plus, you have a ring anyway. I can't remember why, but you've got one. So a ring does come out. And you put it back in again. An amulet. You ask for an amulet, and again, like one of those loose jewelry items that you got from Lucifreak. I can't remember what you did with them. Did you end up selling them for money, or did you end up giving them all away to the elf people? All of the jewelry? Did you keep any of it? Regardless, a non-magical amulet comes out. Quiver list contents, please. Nope, nothing comes out there. Armor, no, nothing comes out to it. Armor and bow. Your bow comes out. You have a bow that's stored in there. Ask for an apple. No apple. Have we tested the capacity of it? No, but doing so might be dangerous, because if you do overload something like this, you're not sure what happens. Ask for a magical ring. You do so and nothing comes out. A locket. Give them back the elven items. All right. Well, none of the elven jewelry comes out then, but a couple of from memory they gave you some of the like non-elven stuff, didn't they? Is this the ring that you got for Unarmed Warrior? Because that was just a plain band. And I don't usually put the things that you're wearing in your inventory, because this is like what's in your bag. Alright, so I will, because you are walking and you have all day to be practicing, or not practicing, but all day to be testing what's in your inventory and not, I'll tell you that you learn that everything that's in your inventory is basically what you put in there. You do find a couple of other things that are like the fact that the arrows are continual, like you keep bringing more and more mundane arrows out, and it's fine. You don't find any magical arrows in there. You don't find any magical weapons. You don't find anything worth noting. There's a couple like there's some more rations in there than you would have put in probably. But yeah, you learn that the only stuff in that quiver is the stuff that you've put in there. Is this quiver like a bag of holding? Yes, it is. Yeah. Like the stuff on there is stuff that we put in there. It seems that way, yes. We got a fancy ring and a necklace as loot from the Manticore. We sold the necklace and was left with that fancy ring. Thank you, Wraith. So that's the fancy ring that you got from the Manticore. Are the rations rotten? No, they're not. They are dried rations specifically for adventuring purposes. So they're like wrapped in beeswax paper, and they're like nuts and seeds and dried jerky and stuff. All right, you have made it now to your. Oh, actually, would you have broken off from the others before going to your stash? Would you want the Gravedigger and or Mosh to know where your riverbank stash is? Would you have just sent them, or would you have said your goodbyes already and sent them off to Shadridge? Because you're just about south of the Four Sisters now. The Gravedigger Yeah, that's a good point, actually. The Gravedigger wouldn't be with you either way, because you're south of the Four Sisters if you're by the riverbank. So the Gravedigger would have peeled off to go to the Four Sisters and deliver his messages that he told you to deliver for him. But Mosh would be where you want him to be, wherever you've said to be, and you said that you're not going to convince him to go to the Feywild with you, so he was just going to be hanging with you until you've disappeared to the Feywild, probably. Would have gone alone, go by ourselves. Yeah, all right. So I'll say that you have said goodbye to your to the Gravedigger at the edge of Munglofau, and then we've walked for a little further past Helweren and towards our riverbank on the way to Shadridge, and then we said we need to head this way. We need to pick something up from somewhere in the forest before I head out there. I'll be safe from here. You can head to Shadridge and help them. And Mosh agreed and said thanks for all you've done for him, and he wishes you well, and to let him, and he awaits your return. And you tell him as he leaves to look after your horse? ? Yes or no? Do you want to head to Shadridge to pick up your horse before going to the Feywild? Yes or no? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you want to pick up your horse, or do you want to leave your horse? Pick it up, leave it. Alright. If a couple of people want to pick up the horse, the majority of people want to leave the horse. Ask Mosh to leave it. Might need to travel on the other side of the portal. It's a good point, we might need to travel. But it seems like we're going to leave the horse where it was. For now. So we're going to leave the horse in Shadridge. Your intention is to go to your portal, to go to your stash, stash as much of the money as you wish, and then go to the Feywild portal and head on through. Can we get the fancy arrow from the elves, though? Yes, actually, that's a good point. When did you commission that? When did you commission your arrow from the elves? It was the day that we picked up the Displacer Guild, yeah, the Displacer Cloak. I haven't written it down here. I think it was the 25th that you commissioned the arrow. And someone remind me what it was. What was the arrow that you commissioned? I thought I would have written it down, but I obviously failed on my notes that day. Could we commission a harness for Mel without having to go through the process of visiting the shop? Just say we commissioned it. No. Feel free to borrow my horse if you need to, Mosh, whether that's to flee or take a message, what have you. I know he'll be in good hands with you. Thank you. I'm sure we'll you make good use of it in your time away on the farm. The bowler arrow, the entanglement arrow, that's right, thank you. It was it was an overnight gig and it was entanglement. Should be ready. Okay, yeah. So it'll be ready to pick up. So yes, you are going to pass through or pass by Munglofau. Sorry, not Munglofau. Helweren. So you can drop in as well. You drop in, you pick it up. There was money to pay on it, was there, or not? Was there a down payment you made that was still to what do they call it? The balance was to pay. You're going to have to let me know, because I thought I'd written a note about it, but if I did, I can't find it. I must have written it elsewhere. Prepaid it? Prepaid in full? I couldn't remember if you'd paid in full or whether you'd paid half of it. Didn't Mosh say that animals hate him as he's a werefox? He's not good with animals, yeah. But he's good on the farm, and he said the farm will make use of the horse, I'm sure. Apis dropped 75, 19 and 21 on Talila for the Displacer Cloak, cool arrow of entangling that she was working on ready tomorrow, and commissioned some boots of elven kind. That's right, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah. Because I was like, I'm sure that she didn't say it was ready tomorrow, because I was thinking of the boots. The boots were the thing that you were commissioning for free, from scratch. The arrow was the one that she was already working on. Cool. All right. Yes, you pop in. Okay, so you pop into Helweren before heading to your stash, you pick up from Talila the arrow that she's been working on. It looks like a regular arrow, but right behind the arrowhead there is a small glass section of the arrow, like a vial around the shaft of the arrow, and inside of that is some liquids that are sloshing between two different chambers of it. As soon as you hit the arrowhead into a target, the magic will be expended, and if you've hit a creature with it, they will be forced to make a saving throw or be tangled up and solidified in like a chemical goo that very quickly expands out and encompasses them like elephant toothpaste, and then solidifies and hardens. How many arrows? Just the one? Yes, yeah, just the one. So you have one of those arrows. Let me put it in your inventory so that we don't forget it. You've got all of the arrow types. You've got a purple arrow for entanglement, and a red arrow for fire, and a green arrow for a sleep arrow, and 8 +1 arrows, masterwork arrows. Can you make more fire arrows on the way? As part of a short rest, you can. Yeah, you if you want to have a short rest before going through the portal, you can do so to get your Fey portal thing back. Actually, you should probably have a short rest now. I'll say then that you, after picking up your arrow, you sit down for tea with Talila. It's probably later in the day. It's probably late in the afternoon. Like to buy more lantern oil and torches. Okay, cool. I will say, for argument's sake then, where's the money? Money. Lantern oil. I can't remember. How much is lantern oil? How much lantern oil do you want to carry with you? 3 or 4 vials. Oil. Flask of oil. 1 silver piece. Cheap as chips, mate. Cheap as chips. Let's say that you buy... How many do they have? 5 or 6 sounds about good. Alright, we'll say 6. You buy 6. 6 lantern oils. It costs you 6 silver. And then because you're also buying some torches from them, so you'll just give them a gold. Give them a gold. Round it up. Be generous. You've got the money. Some healing potions. I don't know if they have any healing potions. So Helwyn doesn't make healing potions. Dolbin Iluad does. And they've been using their stash on trying to help Benadel at the moment. So I don't think they've got any HP potions at the moment. How many torches do you buy? Let's have a little look. Just like up to 10, I guess. Nice and easy. And then you also buy a couple more to make into fire arrows as you go. So we'll scrape off the tar from one of the torches and spread it onto some of your arrows. I'm going to make you a crafting check just really quickly here to see how well you do, which will determine how many fire arrows you can make in your short rest. In case you run across a bunch of new weird plants, yeah. Plants that try to drink your blood. Alright. Let's see how many fire arrows you do. This is a crafting check. This is basically using your dexterity. You're not proficient in crafting fire arrows, but so this is just going to be a +3. 19 + 3, 22. Good. All right. You managed to make a decent number of fire arrows. I'm going to say that is a d6 + 4. 4 + 4. You managed to make 8 fire arrows before you your fingers get a little tired of it, and you kind of get all, because you're working with tar, so it's like getting that that horrible kind of really sticky friction feeling around your fingernails, where you've got like it's pulling away your skin from the fingernails, and there's tar stuck under there that feels really gloopy. And you've dug the tar out from under your fingernails with all of your other fingernails now, so all of your fingernails are full of tar, and your fingers are sticky, and eventually after a long while of working with it, you're just feeling like I'm done with this. I don't need to make any more. Nine's fine. That has taken more than the half-hour rest, so you've been resting for at least an hour in Helwerin here. It's getting towards mid to late afternoon, actually, from where you walked. An hour, 2 hours, 4 hours. Yeah, mid to late afternoon. Before you're finished with your short rest, you take a good while, like a good 20 minutes, getting your hands clean in the local stream or whatever, trying to get all this tar off. Before you've finished, you've got your arrow of whatever entanglement. You've got some more fire arrows. You've decided you're not going to take your horse with you. You set off in the direction that you remember the Fey portal being, but you're not 100% sure where it is. So after walking a little while, while you were resting, Sparrow, you warned the elves about everything that you knew, exposition cantrip on them. You filled them in. They understand they're already in danger because they know the things that's happening with Arachel and the dangers. So you've told them as much as you can. Oh yeah, that's right. Thanks, Fancy. I forgot. Riverbank. You need to go to Stash. You first set off from from Helwerin. You go to the riverbank, and once we get to the riverbank, what are we deciding to stash? We have 33 platinum pieces. Each platinum is worth 10 gold. We've got 298 gold pieces, 165 silver pieces, and we've already stashed 104 platinum pieces worth of gold. So we are uber wealthy. What do we want to stash? Keep 10 gold and stash everything else? Give me some suggestions in the chat, everybody. Are we stashing everything above 10? How much are we keeping? We're stashing 200 of the gold and all of the platinum. Stash 8 of the gold and head to the portal. just 8 gold. Keep everything else. Stash all but 1 or 2 platinum. Keep about 50 gold and the silver that we have. All but 1 or 2 platinum. All of the platinum. Most people saying stash all of the platinum and most of the gold. Maybe start a separate stash nearby, not too far, but not separate. Don't pull all our riches in one hole. This hole has treated you well so far, Sparrow. I will say that it's highly unlikely that I will decide to screw you over by having something steal from this. Like you're going out of your way to stash your gold here. There is a chance that something sees it, but I'm not really feeling that way inclined to screw you over by ruining your good planning. So that was 33 platinum there. So 37 platinum is stashed. 137 platinum stashed now. How much of the gold are we keeping? We've stashed all the platinum. 1 or 2 platinum maybe. All right. Quite a few people have said just keep a hold of 1 or 2 platinum, just in case something comes up where actually platinum is important, or you need to like show off or whatever, or like having something on you where you're like, would a platinum piece change your mind? Or like try and pretend like you're uber wealthy. I mean, you are uber wealthy, but show off that you're uber wealthy. Or maybe like platinum itself has like chemical qualities that could be useful or something. So we'll keep 1 platinum just in case you need a platinum for any reason. And then how much of the gold? Have we got coppers stashed? No, we give coppers away. We stopped using coppers pretty much. What's the exchange rate again? 10 silver to a gold, 10 gold to a platinum. So 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Let's put it to a poll. How much gold to keep? 10, 50, 100, 200, or other. Oh, okay. So 50 or 100 people wanting to keep 50 or 100. Let's make another poll then, because it wasn't a majority. 50, 60, 70, 80, or 98. Those are your new options. How much of the gold are we going to keep on us? No, 69. Time to riot. Damn it! What did I do? Why? What's wrong with me? I completely forgot. All right, we're keeping 50. That gave us the majority, so we're going to stash another 48. Let's. Is there some way of making this round? 48. Oops. Tell you what I just did there. I just made that platinum pieces. That should be 136. That should be 156. Whoops! Didn't give you 200 platinum from 200 gold. Then so we're going to keep 50. So we're going to drop off another 48 from here. 48 onto there. 48 platinum pieces is. Oh man, I will have to make it 50. Stupid maths. 48 gold. So if I just take 20 from here, that's 145. Ah, this app 145. It's 20 from there. It takes it to 50 gold stashed, which is 5 platinum. So that's 61. 61. And then we're carrying quite a lot of silver pieces. Do we want to keep the silver pieces with us? 145 silver. Because I'm only keeping a track of how much you've stashed in platinum now. You've got so goddamn much. It's either 100 or nothing. Like, you're going to stash 100 or you're going to not. You're going to shave, look into shaving down our silver at some point. Easy way to make powdered silver. Keep the silver. Keep it, keep it, keep it. Keep it, the Fae don't like it. Alright, I think we're going to keep it, just in case we need it. There's a part of Apis' mind that recalls that the Fae might not like silver, or something like that. With a 15 Arcana check earlier, it's not enough to know for sure, but you do have something in the back of your mind that there's some kind of connection between Fae and silver. When did we get so much money? From Lucifreak's Horde, yeah. After we killed the dragon. There's iron. There is iron. You definitely know, with a 15 Arcana from before, you definitely know that the Fae don't like iron. That's something that's relatively commonly known. But there is something in the back of your mind there is a connection with silver and the Fae that you can't fully remember. All right, you have finished stashing all of your coins in the riverbank. You have stashed 161 platinum pieces. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. You are so wealthy. Let's go. All right, you turn around. You stuff the moss back into the hole to plug up the rock at the base of your bank, and you then focus down. We should just buy another horse. Yeah, just buy a horse wherever you go. Just a horse in every town, a horse in every port. You focus in on where the Feywild portal is, and you got TomTom for this. You bring TomTom out and you say, "Where's the nearest Fey portal?" He runs along your hand, scuttles up to your finger, and his little antenna going pretty excitedly in a particular direction, and you set off in that direction. You're walking for the rest of the day, the rest of the light of the day, into early evening, before you arrive at a clearing that you recognize. You don't believe that you've ever been to this clearing, but you recognize it from a vision you had not too long back, a few weeks back. When you first did a detect portals, it was the first time you ever used this ability, and you were thrust through the forest to this point here with a rock in the center of the clearing that looks a little like a seat, a little bit like a chaise longue. It's somewhat covered in moss, and there is a small, very gentle brook that moves through it. You've already said goodbye to Mosh. Mosh has gone off to Shadridge. Mosh said, "Thank you very much for all you did, and goodbye." You are led here, and TomTom is excitedly sort of running up and down your fingers when you arrive. There is he kind of leads you past the seat in the center and over to sort of an area of plain grass between the seat rock and the babbling brook. And then once you sort of walk forwards and he's getting jittery on the end of your finger, and once you get there, he shoots back down the center of your palm and starts doing circuits around the center of your palm very excitedly. He's no longer pointing in any particular direction. No, Mosh has made his decision. He's not coming. Save the world so that we can follow our true passion of horse breeding. En route, Tom. You have arrived. Tom looks up at you, and a little screen appears over his face that says, "How happy are you with your directions today?" And then a series of 5 smiley faces. Horse collecting, you mean? Yeah. 5 stars. You click a 5 stars on him, and he shoots back up the bracer. You put Tom away, and you are here. You are apparently at the Fait portal. You look around, you don't see anything. Nothing out of place, no shimmering air, no sparkly light, nothing at all. Just a very pleasant brook, and a place that you would find very pleasant to lie down on if you were to come across this while you were out foraging or anything like this. This would be the sort of thing that you'd be like, oh, I've got to remember to come back to this area. This is a very nice clearing. In our experience, portals are two-sided. You've been in one portal and it was two-sided. Well, Feywild, here I come. It's been quite the adventure. Hold the stick in front of us as we walk so we can see where it disappears. You do that for a bit. You pick up a stick and you walk around this clearing holding out your stick, and it doesn't disappear. Knock knock, open the portal, I'm coming through. You shout that out to the clearing. A bird takes off from the tree. Detect portal now. Maybe we'll see a key under the doormat. Time to tie a rope around our waist and yeet. Tie a rope to our waist and yeet ourselves through. Through what? We investigate the rock in the clearing. You walk over to the rock. You find that it is not created to be a chaise longue. It's just sort of naturally formed in a way that would nestle the shape of some legs, buttocks, and a lower back pretty well. If you were to sit into it. It's got a bit of moss on it for some cushioning if you were to sit down on it, and that's about it. That's all you notice about it. There's nothing else of note about it. Open sesame. Open sesame. Tell Tom, can you let the merry gentleman know I'm here? Tom comes out of your bracer and looks up at you. Detect portal. Alright. You stop a second and you close your eyes and you think about the portal that you saw here and the Feywild. Think about the tricksiness of the Fey and what you might need to know about the Fey. You open your eyes and at first you feel like it hasn't worked. You don't think you've moved. But then you realise something's not right here. Something's different. And you realise, it's slightly raining. It's slightly misting with rain. And then a moment later you are back into where you were, standing pretty much in exactly the same place, looking in the same direction, only it's a relatively nice day. We detect portal today, but it's once per short rest, and you've had a short rest since. It's part of Apis' thinking happy thoughts. Thinking happy thoughts. Think of a merry little thought. Any happy little thought. Time to walk forward, I guess. You walk forwards. You walk forwards from where you are, and nothing happens. You walk all the way over to the brook, and you step over the brook. You step back. Nothing. You don't feel any different. the light around is more colourful. No, it seems like regular colour levels of the material plane. Drink from the brook. You lean down and you... We can't portal with metals on us. Maybe. If the Fae don't like iron and have something to do with silver, perhaps. You have to enter it upside down? Walking backwards? Bum shuffling? you sit down on the ground and bum shuffle forwards, and then grateful that nothing sees you, you feel a little sheepish and stand up again. You look down at the brook reflection in it. It's moving water, so the reflection isn't great, but it's rippling slightly. You see yourself looking back at you in your reflection. I'm pretty sure we're already gone, and now we're back. Maybe. Close our eyes, focus on the same sensations as on Misty Step. Did we sit on the chaise lounge yet? No, you didn't. Cup some of the water, throw it in the air, make it rain. Bard of Bronze, as you cup some of the water and throw it in the air, I'm going to have you make a perception check. That's an 11, in case you can't quite see it. 11 plus your perception, which is very good because of forest bonus. You are in a forest, so your perception is a +8 when you're in a forest. So that's a 19. With a 19, you have you've flick the water into the air, and as it comes down, it catches the light in a way that sort of makes, rainbow prism sort of thing. Only it catches it in a way that the light should not be catching it. In the area that it's hit, at this late in the day, you've almost lost the light. It's like twilight sort of time. And as it catches the light, as it seems like it's catching the light, it should be in shadow. There should have been no light for it to catch. It sprinkles past an area between you and the chaise lounge, and then disappears. It seems like you saw a pane of glass almost caught by a couple of the drops of water as it fell. Lean into the chair. You walk through the direction where you just threw the water and over to the chair, and you sit down on the chaise lounge and recline back, and you allow yourself to rest for a second. Then you get back up again. You pick up a stick and you poke at that area that you just saw with a stick. You imagined walking through it. You walk over, Lady Emery's, you walk back over to the brook, you grab a couple of handfuls of water, you walk over to the area where you're pretty sure you saw the glass, and you imagine walking through the Fey portal, and as you throw the water into the air and you step forward, I'm going to roll a very important roll for you right now. As you step forwards, the water sprays down around, sprinkling as if it's lightly raining. As the water hits your face and you see these glints of rainbow-like light in almost like a pane of glass around you, you hear music. Very strong carnival-esque music playing. And it happens very quickly and very briefly. And as you pass through, you smell carnival sort of smells. You smell candy floss. You smell hot cooked roasted chestnuts and such like that. You are hit with a few sensations that makes you realise you are heading through a portal right now. You feel the sensation of heading into out of this plane and into something else. And I'm going to roll you a wisdom saving throw. Because when you come back from a trip to the Feywild, if you do not have Fey ancestry, there is a chance that you forget your entire time there. So I am jumping forward to the time that you leave the Feywild now and back to the material plane to see whether you remember your time there or not. Because if you don't, if you fail this wisdom saving throw, we're jumping forward in time to the point where you get back to the material plane. I will tell you that the DC is 15. You have a +2 to your wisdom saves, as you can see over there. So you need to roll a 13 or more. If you do not, you do not see the Feywild, and you do not meet the Merry Gentleman. Well, you will, but you won't. You won't get to realize it. So if you fail this save, we jump forward to the point where you get back to this plane of existence. If you get a 13 or more, you enter the Feywild, and we get to play out what happens in the Feywild. I have been having to prepare for this session in 2 completely different ways, based on the dice roll of a single roll. I needed to prepare all of the Feywild stuff in case you roll well and go to the Feywild, and I've had to prepare all of the stuff that happens in case you don't go to the Feywild in the time that you've been in the Feywild. You cannot use Inspiration or Lucky Horseshoe on this because you don't know that you have Inspiration or Lucky Horseshoe ready when you left the Feywild. So this is all down to a single roll. 13 or more, and you get to experience the Feywild. 12 or less, and you do not. Here we go. That is an 8. 8 plus your wisdom saving throw of 2 is not enough. So you throw the water into the air. You step forwards and you hear the sounds of music. As you step through the portal and onto the other side, you find that you're not nearly in as colourful an area as you thought you would have been. The sound of the music and the smells and the feeling of stepping through a portal instantly stopped, and you have a dull headache. You look around and you sort of try to gather your bearings, keeping in mind all of the things you know about the Feywild. Don't make deals. Don't ask questions. Don't ask things of people. Demand them if you need it. Don't agree to things. Speak in very deliberate ways. Be very careful about your wording. Stay aware of your surroundings. But you look around and you don't see anything. You don't see any flittering creatures. You don't see fairies and pixies. There's a part of you that's a little disappointed. Perhaps the stories had talked it up to a point that, well, I suppose not all of it can be magical. You walk forwards. Time of day, early. You feel well rested. You look around the field that you're in. It doesn't look familiar. Something's wrong. Check that you have your belongings. You look down and you realize, what the hell am I wearing? This isn't the outfit that I was in. This is different. There's something's changed. You're in like a a green suit that seems like it's made of plant material. You've still got your quiver by your hip, though. As you look down, though, you realise as well there's a piece of parchment rolled up in your hand. There's a rolled up piece of parchment in your hand. Huh. You look down at it, and it says Apis on the piece that you're holding on the exterior of it. You open it up, and you see in handwriting that you don't recognise immediately. Apis hive of Shafgushal on the Peoran continent of Rin. Given the blood of this plane doesn't run in your veins, you may find your time here a little foggy at best. In case of that event, I hope this letter helps to alleviate some confusion. You came to me here in my home, and we spoke of your natural talents as a plane stepper or a horizon walker. With your abilities, you're in a unique position to help the people of Rin with a problem regarding the portals between planes. In the East Drenlark, there is a village. There you'll find a friend. He can tell you more. The sentinels must be fixed. It is vital to keep the balance. May Gladlix Felanda look down upon you favourably, as many others seem to have. And the note is not signed. Mel is with you. I will say that Mel has... Actually, let me think. Yes, Mel is with you. Mel looks the same. She's still wearing her armor. Oh, and I will say that another indication you have seen of difference is that your backpack that you are carrying has a long perch made of wood set across the top of it, and Mel is sitting atop that. Does Mel remember? That's a very good point. Let's roll a wisdom saving throw for Mel. Mel remembers. Mel succeeded. You say, Mel, where are we, Mel?
She goes, I don't know, we went through the portal.
Oh my god, tell us everything.
We went through the portal, I don't know where we are now.
So, but you weren't... How long... So I'm not... I've been and come back and I don't remember it.
Oh. They said that you may not remember. I remember things vaguely, but you don't remember anything?
I don't remember anything. Can you refresh my memory? I don't remember it at all. Do you know what's happened?
Yes. When we first got there, we stepped through, and it was all very bright and colorful, and lots of beautiful flowers. There was lots of nice smells.
Right. And then what happened?
There was a dragon like a small dragon that sings to you, and you found it very charming.
Right.
We were with that dragon for a while as it was singing with us, and then we I don't remember exactly what happened after that. There was a man, a person taller than you, but almost like an elf, but it was he was different. He had skin like it was sort of like a orange or like like one of these, and she flies over to some leaves on the ground that have fallen in like autumnal colours. She says, his colours were like this. And you realise in this moment as well that the forest you're in is different to the one that you left on the material plane. Because this is definitely a forest of autumn. You left in the beginning of summer, and this is like late autumn forest that you're in. How long were we there? Maybe I do not know. Lots of days. Right. Did this man that we spoke with? His skin was like these sorts of colors. Yes, and he changed. He was wearing different colors like this. And we told him where we were going, and he said that he could take us there, but it was dangerous to go there without a gift. And he said that he could give us a gift, and we said that we would take a gift from him or something. I was trying to. I could not understand. You were all speaking this language, which was useful for me, but you were using words I don't know. Did I make any deals while I was there? Maybe. I don't know what is a deal. Did I agree to anything? We spoke with this man for a while, but then he took us to an area where we had to cross some water. And he said that to get to the place where we want to be, you kept calling him the Merry Gentleman, and to get to the Merry Gentleman, we had to cross over a boat, and there was a big fish in the water that helped us to get across from one island to another island. Okay. You look around as some of your brain starts to think about the mountain portal, the abyss. You look around. You don't recognize the horizon that you're at. You're in a forest that's pretty deep. You say, keep talking, Mel. I just need to check something. And you quickly climb your way up to the top of a nearby tree, and you look out. You do not recognize the landscape. You don't recognize the skyline, the horizon. You definitely don't see the mountain that you have seen. You see a mountain range off in one direction. You're not even sure what time of day it is, because obviously you can tell where the sun is, but you haven't lived this day, so you're you would imagine it's pretty early based on how the birds in the trees are acting and where the sun is low in the sky, but it's a chance that it is actually late in the day. If it is early in the day, then there's a mountain range to the east of where you are. Otherwise, it is just a huge forest for as far as you can see. Mel, how many flower bloom cycles were there? While we were there, the flowers stayed bloomed. Did we level up? You actually did. I was going to get to that. Is Rin flat or a globe? Rin is a globe. Did we discuss Mosh with anyone in the Feywild? Oh yes. Well, when the fish got us across to another island, we we walked for a while and walked over through some. There was some big stone giants that like big like. They were like mountains, but they were like giants. They did not move, but they guarded, and we went past and through them, and they let us pass, and then we got to an area where there was a woman made of tree, like a tree woman, and she told us where we wanted to go, and we went with her, and there was a big what is the it's like a house, but it is big, like a really big house, and it was in like a valley, and there was like a big tree, like a really big tree behind this house, and like a castle? No, like a mansion? Yes, a mansion. We went to the mansion, and then there was the man with you said you recognize, you called him Digan, and he came out, and he was wearing green, and he had his suit was made out of like a plant, like it was a grass. And then he said welcome, and he came, and we went into his house, and he got me some flowers, and they were delicious, and I loved the flowers. He gave you some to give to me when we get back here. And you look down in you stick your hand into the quiver, and you think of Fey flowers, and you feel some petals brush against your hand, and you bring them out, and they're gorgeous, like beautifully intricate, kind of lily-like flowers, but they've got this like fuchsia, I think is the word I'm looking for. It's like a pinkish purple, and really long stamens on them as well. And she goes, yes, that is them, please. And you're like, okay, we'll in a minute, okay? And you put it back in your quiver, and she goes, okay. So the person we called Diggin was someone different to the person we were calling the Merry Gentleman? No, I don't know. I think you called them both. There's another junkie now. B crack, yeah. So what happened then? Well, then they stayed there for a while, and we spent some time, but it was a very, very long day. I got tired. So, did you go to sleep? Yes, we were there a few times, a few sleeps. But it was such a long day. Okay. Why did we come back this way? I think he wanted us to, I just came where you went. She's like trying to remember why we went, but she's just like, she follows you where you go, essentially. Can you fly up and see if there's a town nearby, please, Mel? We can walk and talk, but I need to find where we are. Of course, yes. I will see if I can. Disappears up into the sky to have a little bird's eye view. She buzzes back down again. I don't see anything. Just lots of trees for a long ways. Did we talk about our family at all? And when we were there? I don't know if maybe I was not. I did not go in the mansion much. There were lots of flowers outside, lots and lots of flowers. Do we still have Tom Tom? You look down and call Tom Tom. There's a moment or two, and then he comes scuttling out from behind you, beneath your bracer, into your palm of your hand. You climb back down the tree and look for that Fey portal again. Like, where did you come through? Oh crap! You've moved since. Where was it? Tom Tom, Fey portal. He turns around and shifts in a direction up your thumb that is definitely not the direction you just came from. Do we still have the dice? You look down into your inventory and you think about the dice, and sure enough, out they come. Little box.
You do recognise, however, that the name on the box is no longer Sylvan for Bobby. It is now Apis, etched into the top of the box. Do we have any other gifts? If you do, you're going to have to find them. What do you want to do? Thomas is his full name. Thomas. What do you want to do? Thorough inventory check. You sit down, you get your backpack off, you open it up, and you start to look through to see what you've got. Did we manage to get a cure for Mosh and Belladel? Let's see how much she knows, because she was with you pretty much the whole journey to the Merry Gentleman's Palace. But once you got there, she was in her element. He was giving her all sorts of flowers, and he had a big old orchard and a big old what are they called? Big old botanical gardens sort of thing for her to have a good fly around. So she was in her absolute element. So she wasn't around you for a lot of this stuff with the Merry Gentleman. So let's see how much she would have heard about. Would she know about the Mosh thing? No, she does not. She's like, I'm not sure. Maybe. I did not hear what happened with Mosh and the other one. Do you have all our spells? Inspiration, Daily Horseshoe. You do have your inspiration, your Daily Horseshoe, and your spells. Yes, you feel like you have those things. Do we have a Merry Gentleman hat now? No, you don't. No. You're not in full Merry Gentleman outfit. Yours does not look like it's made out of a single blade of grass like his was. Mel, did either of us learn any cool new tricks while we were there? Which is a very good question. I can't fully answer that for you because that depends on what you're taking when you level up. But for her, let me look what she got at level up because I've forgotten. Mellifera. When she leveled up to level 7, she gained the ability Evasion. Now, when she makes a Dexterity saving throw, if she fails, she takes only half damage, and if she succeeds, she takes no damage. So she says, "Yes, I got quite quick, quite speedy, and I'm able to get out of the way of things a little better now. And we practiced, we trained for some time, you and I." We made some time training, and I got better at moving out of the way of things fast. I will write in chat the name of the everything. I'll give you everything that he mentioned. This is his document. There you go. Apis Hive of Shafgushul on the Peoran continent of Rin. Given the blood of this plane doesn't run in your veins, you may find your time here a little foggy at best. In case of that event, I hope this letter helps to alleviate some confusion. You came to me here in my home, and we spoke of your natural talents as a plane stepper, or horizon walker. With your abilities, you are in a unique position to help the people of Rin with a problem regarding the portals between planes. In the East Renlock there is a village. There you will find a friend. He can tell you more. The sentinels must be fixed. It is vital to keep the balance. May Gladlix Philander look down upon you favourably, as others seem to have. Probably near a place called Rin. You would know that the planet that you're on is called Rin. Rin is the name of the world. Can we ask the dice if Mosh is an alive human? We can do so. Do we know about East Renlock? Nope. You've never heard what East Renlock is. Let's heading east and see if we can find the Drenlock place. Sentinels. Who's Gladlix Philander? Make a religion check for me. Religion check is a 15 plus 3. Religion check. Yeah, with an 18 religion, you would know that Gladlix Philander is the god of luck. God of luck and fortune and chance. Do we have anything on us that we don't recognise? Anything that might be a cure? Nothing that you don't. I mean, there's a few things you don't recognize. Like your rations look slightly different. Like they're not from this plane. Like they're made from food from the Feywild. Your torches are different again. Like the torches that you bought are not these ones. You have a couple of things like potion ingredient looking things that might be dried herbs and stuff that you don't really recognize. So maybe a cure, but not necessarily. Could be any number of things. History check to see if we recognize any of the proper nouns. Let's have a look. You would recognize Apis Hive, Shafgushal. Peoran continent is the name of the continent that you are on, and you would know that. You'd know that Rin is the name of the planet. The proper nouns, Plain Stepper, Horizon Walker, you know that that's the name for the thing that you are. You're not sure exactly what it is yet. Eastrenlark, you've no idea. The Sentinels, no idea. Gladlix Philander, you know, is the god of luck. And that's it. How different are the birds and animals, plants, compared to those around Shadridge? Very similar. They seem like they would be right at home around Shadridge. This is the sort of plants and trees and animals and birds and things that there would be around there. But it definitely seems the more you look around you, the more you realise there have been months have passed. This is late autumn, maybe even approaching winter. You finish looking through the inventory that you have. Your herbalism kit is there, and as I say, it's kind of fleshed out with a few more Fey herbs. All of the other stuff, I believe, is there. Your magic rope's there. Your books about the planes and everything is there. Your water skin is still there. Your hunting knife, your panpipes are still there. Lucky horseshoe, ring, rations. Everything's still there. All of your arrows are still there. You are missing a couple of your fire arrows. The tranquilizer arrow is still there, and your entangle arrow is still there, and your +1 arrows are still there. In terms of things you've been given, your quiver is still looking like it is. Your backpack, as I say, has got the perch on it now for Mel to sit on, somewhat stealthily. Your clothing, your exterior your armor is still the armor that you were wearing, but your exterior clothing is seemingly made of plant material. Mel, did anyone give us stuff that we kept? Gifts, objects, other than your flowers?
I mean, we had to eat and things. If that's what you mean, I don't know if the man in the green that he gave you a piece of paper that one that you were reading.
Is there any place to see our reflection? Catch anything we might miss? You can look around the forest for a place to catch your reflection if you want. You don't have a mirror on you, and there's no brook immediately nearby, but you're an outlander. You can easily find some water. Ask TomTom to point at the closest portal to the plane of air. Ooh, okay. Sasha, you get TomTom out, and you say, TomTom, where's the nearest plane of air? It's a very good question, and I don't think it would work. It wouldn't be. Yeah, no, he doesn't move. Just stays in the center of your palm and looks up at you. Still have both cloaks. You look in your inventory for your cloaks, and you find that you are still wearing your displacer cloak, and you have got your cloak of many fashions folded up in your inventory. Money. What would the money situation be? I don't think you'd have had need for money, though. You would have definitely used up a few of these. You'd probably be down to like
And then you'd probably, knowing you and knowing who Apis is, you'd have probably used a couple of those. Yeah. So you check your money pouch and you're pretty much on what you expected to be. Hurt in any way? You check yourself out. You take your braces off and check your arms out. It seems like you've got a couple of new scratches, like some relatively recent cuts and things that you don't remember getting. You feel your face feels the same. Oh yeah, ow. You've definitely got a cut across the top of your brow here that from something you're not sure about. You're all relatively intact though. Do you know if we learned to close portals while we were there? You spent a great deal of time talking with him about portals. Yes, he said that. He said, I don't know, but he said that you can. There is ways to close portals, and that's what he wanted your help with. Any notes in the margins of the plane walking book? Anything we've added? Very good. I wondered if anyone would check that. You flick to your plane through your plane walking book, and you flick to the Feywild. Any sections on the Feywild that you can see, and sure enough, you see that there's a lot of scribbled notes, just left, right, and centre, all across the margins and down in the footnotes. Anywhere that there's blank space on the page, you've scribbled in handwriting that you recognise as your own. Just notes about the Fey. There's a note that talks about an encounter you had with a creature that you later learned was called an earworm, that basically had you enchanted with its singing for a long time. You're not sure how long you were stood there listening to it, but eventually something came and saved you from it. You've got a note that said there's a creature that's there's a section of the book that says denizens of the Feywild, and then you've put a little note pointing to that, and you've just written the word Aladrin. And then there's another section that said that where you've written it doesn't seem to be related to the text of the page, but you've written there were titans made of stone, mountain-sized creatures that acted as guardians. And you're not sure exactly what they were guarding or being guardian of, because you didn't write anything there. But yes, you've written a few notes here and there. Take 20 to investigate or Arcana on the armor. You check your armor out, and you can tell that it seems to be made of plant material. As you sort of tug at it, you realise that it kind of shifts itself a little bit with unnatural movement. It seems like it's almost shifting to fit to your body and stay on your body. It doesn't seem like it would provide much in the way of armor, no more so than the armor that it is over the top of. You are still wearing your armor underneath this plant material. Question for the dice. Have the people of Shadridge been affected in a negative way by the problems of hobgoblins we're combating to the north Shadridge when we entered the portal of the Feywilds? That's a good point. Do we want to ask the dice a question, guys? And do we want the question to be something like that? Let's see if I can catch up. I think I'm falling behind here. Can use our blade as a mirror. Not a very good mirror, but yeah, you bring your longsword out and you do your best to sort of... actually... Yeah, it would be... Yeah, you bring your longsword out and you use your blade as best you can to catch your reflection. You look the same as you did, as far as you can tell. Your hair's maybe a little shorter, perhaps. Hard to know for sure, but perhaps a little shorter. All right, we should track the sun's movement to determine our cardinal directions at some point. Very good point. Yes. So while you've been, I'll roll you a survival check with your forest bonus, which is good because that was a 7 plus your forest bonus survival, which I think is an 8, so 15. That's still pretty good. With a 15 survival, I'll say that in the time that you've been mucking about, you know where the sun was when you first stepped out of the portal, and now you've been spending some time checking your inventory and all that nonsense. So the sun has moved a touch, enough with a 15 to recognise that it must be morning and the sun is indeed rising over the mountains in the east.
you recognize that the mountain range you can see is in the east of you. If anything, it's in the sort of, it ranges from like just above east to like just south of southeast, sort of that kind of direction. Which incidentally would be the same direction that the mountain range would be in where you were in Shafgushal, not in Shafgushal, Shadridge. Shadridge is on the northwest side of a mountain range. So it's a possibility that if that's the same mountain range, then there's a possibility that you're in the Giftigald forest. Please ask Mel if she heard us learn of any consequences to the dice and TomTom before we go provoking said possible consequences even more by using them. Mel, these dice, you get them out and show her. Yes. Do you know if we learned about what the consequences of using them are? Did she know that? What would the chances of her learning that be? Apis would have asked that of the Merry Gentleman. Okay, Mel, there's a chance that she would know. But not with a nat 1. No, I don't think I heard you talk about the dice at all. You check the Cloak of Fashions. You check the Cloak of Fashions. On the inside of the Cloak of Fashions, there is a map. At first you think, okay, so it hasn't changed. But then you realise that this is a different map. This is a different map to the area that you'd seen before. This is a map of an area of forest that you have never seen, that you don't recognise. You don't recognise the layout of it. It has on it a section of mountain range down in the sort of lower right corner, and it is mostly forest. There is a rather thick river that runs across the top of the map and down sort of around the top left corner and down off the side at the left. There is a red spot. There is like a dark green spot on the map about just in the north left. The north left. The upper left corner quadrant, just south of or just underneath the river on the map. Do you recognise the map as a place not far? You don't recognise this area of the map. I concur with Trivdave's version of the dice question. Nice and simple. Wheel for yes. Checks the boxes. Let's see, Trivdave. Is the creature known as Mosh alive and cured of the wear curse? If he's dead or he's not cured, it'll give a no. I would ask something like, is the creature I know as Mosh at this very moment alive? Do we want to ask the dice a question? Yes or no? Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down for asking the dice something. Is there any paper we have written answers to questions on? Doesn't seem like it. Only the stuff in the margin of the book. Alright, seems like yes, we are going to ask the dice a question. Doesn't cost us anything to ask, Fancy says. Maybe it doesn't. What are we going to ask the dice? Ask about Mosh or ask about something else, actually, before I put it to a poll? Let me see. What is the topic of our question going to be? Is it going to be Mosh? We might have used them today. We can ask the dice about a cost of using the dice another day. So we have Apis on the box that could have changed to no longer mostly harmless. We just need to get faster with questions. We do. What are we going to ask the dice, guys? We're going to ask about Mosh. Alright, we're going to ask about Mosh. The two things that I saw coming up was ask if he's alive and cured, or just ask him if he's alive. We could also ask about Shadridge instead of Mosh. We could say, is Shadridge okay? Is the creature I know as Mosh free from the wear curse? Alright, what do we think about, is the creature I know as Mosh free from the wear curse? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
You want to ask the dice, is the creature I know as Mosh free from the workers? Interesting. Down the middle on this one. I'm going to have to put this to a poll. One minute to decide. There's your poll. Is the creature I know as Mosh free from the workers? Yes or no? Is that what we're going? Is that the wording we're going to ask? Ask if he's alive. Any other question? Any other answer doesn't matter. Yeah, because if he's not alive, if you get the answer that no, he's not alive, then it doesn't matter whether or not he's free of the workers. If he's alive, then he can always be cured later. Good point, Spades. Are all of our friends still alive? I mean, the more friends you include, the less likely you are to be getting a positive answer. Not Mosh. We need to know the state of the world more than our single friend. We need to know if it's even safe to travel about without coming across swarms of undead. Very good point, Sparrow. You don't know what's happened in the months that you've been gone. Since you've been gone. Alright, 69 nice % of the vote says no, we're not going to ask that wording. So what are we going to ask them? This is an interesting one. What are we going to ask? Are we going to tell them? Are we going to ask about Shadridge? Are we going to ask about Mosh but with different wording? Alright, let's put these to a series of polls. Let's see if we can hone in on it. Ask about Mosh, yes or no. We'll put that one first. Ask about Mosh at all, yes or no. Let's put a proper percentage vote to make sure that we're getting what we're getting here. Alright, 69 nice % of the vote are saying yes, we're going to ask about Mosh. So we're not going to ask about Shadridge, we're not going to ask about the portal, we're not going to ask about anything but Mosh. And we've already said no, we're not going to ask, is he cured of the workers? So, new thing is, are we going to ask the following question? Is the creature we know as Mosh alive? Yes or no? Just alive. Is the creature I know as Mosh alive? In the meantime, ask TomTom, where is the portal to the world I come from, the material plane? You ask that redial. TomTom comes out into this center of your palm, and you ask it, where is a portal to the material plane, the plane that I'm from? And his little antenna just look up at you. With 76% of the vote, Apis gets out the dice, opens the little box that now says Apis on it, hopes that they don't have some kind of long-standing payment or cost of using these dice that they don't know about, or that they did know about and then forgot. Sets out a something like a book or something solid to roll the dice on, and then lets them go. Interesting. This is really interesting. How do I theme it here? As each dice hits the surface and bounces, you have flashes of different sensations. You have the sound of a farmyard animal, maybe a cow, just gently grazing. You have the sight of close-up of someone shoveling dirt out of a pile of soil and packing it around the edges of a tree. You get the sound of hammer banging against wood and knocking nails into a new fence. You get the smell of fresh air and the manure of a farm mingling. you get the taste of a hot meal, perhaps let's say an apple pie. You get the sense of wheel, but average. It's not the strongest yes, but it is definitely a yes. Where's the Quiver for a diary? You put your hand in and ask for a diary. Or a journal. Would Apis... So you didn't have a diary on you. You wrote things in the margins. You would have probably started a diary while you were there. I'm going to roll a percentage check to see if you started a diary while you were there. No diary or journal comes to your mind, to your hand. Lots of neurons wanted paper for writing stuff down. Yeah, but it seems it didn't happen. We look through our herbalism book as well, see if we did anything similar to the Feywilds again. You look through your herbalism book, you flick for a little while. I'm just going to roll real quick an investigation just to see how good of an insight... just to see how good of a flick through you go. With a 3 on the dice plus your investigation of 3, you get a 6. You sort of skim through and flick. You don't see anything. If you want to have a sit down and like properly look through page by page, you can do so, but that'll take time. It's getting slightly later into the morning now. You've been sort of standing in this clearing, not sure what to do or what direction to go for a little while now. Asking the dice, you've sorted through your inventory. Is there anything between the pages of our books? Dry leaves and flowers? Anything in our vials? Yes, there is. Yeah, it's mostly in your herbalism kit, but it's things you've found already. You've definitely got dried flowers and things that you have not otherwise seen in your herbalism kit. Any tracks nearby roads or signs of sentient beings? You can look for some roads and things, but from where you are, no sign of sentient beings, no sign of roads, no sign of civilization in any way. We may have leveled up while we were there. Mel mentioned training. What was the test we did in the past where we'd send Mel far away? Maybe it's longer now. That is a good question. And what time is it? It's probably... I think we've probably got just about time to do this. So I think that's actually, as Apis's mind starts to question whether or not they've what they've trained in, what they have improved while they've been away, we are going to go into level up. You have in your experiences that you don't actually remember, you have actually experienced quite a lot, and you did achieve an arc of a campaign essentially in getting to the Merry Gentleman and achieving things that you've achieved in the Feywild. Here's how I want to do things, by the way, guys, just so that you know. I have an idea of what happened in your time in the Feywild, but it is your character, and you have autonomy over your character. You have the choices. So I'm trying to make decisions about what you've done in the Feywild based on what is most likely to have happened in the Feywild. But I can't make that decision ultimately for you. So I have to be a little bit vague about the things that you've done and said and things. Because what I want to happen is when you eventually get your memories back, which can happen a number of different ways, but when you eventually get your memories back, I want us to go back to the moment that you entered the Feywild and play through it at level 6 and play through what happened in the Feywild. And the more that I tell you about what happened there, the more I put in your inventory and stuff while you're there, the more I am sort of railroading you later when it comes to doing that Feywild part of the campaign. Does that make sense? So I can't be too specific about it, otherwise when we finally go back and explore what happened in the Feywild, we will be railroaded into having to make certain decisions. So I'm having to be a little bit vague about things. Does that make sense? Does that sound fun? Does that sound like a fun thing to do? So you did level up. At the end of your time in the Feywild, essentially you leveled up to level 7. So now you are level 7. And so now before we can go too much further with where we are right now, we need to make the decisions of what we're doing at level 7. I did say recently, like,
start thinking about what you want to do at level 7, because it might be soon. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna talk about level 7. The options are: take another level in Ranger, which would be our 6th Ranger level. Take another level in Fighter, which would be our 2nd Fighter level. Or take a first level in some 3rd multi-class. So that's the first option to decide. Which class are we going to take? I'm going to put this to like a 5-minute poll, because we've got a little more time to actually to debate it. You can start debating in the chat right now. Start putting your arguments forward for the people that are on the fence about which one we're going to do. You're going to need to start making your persuasive arguments. Which class level should we take? We are a level 7 character, but that is made up currently of 5 levels of Ranger and 1 level of Fighter. If we take our 7th level, it is not the 7th Ranger level, and it's not the 7th Fighter level. It is the 6th Ranger level, or the 2nd Fighter level, or the first new thing. Fighter level 2, Ranger level 3, or other level 1. Warlock is on the table. If you wanted to get a level of Warlock, Fey Warlock would be obviously an option for you. If you wanted to be a first level Fey Warlock, as well as a first level Fighter and whatever level Ranger level 6, other level 1. But obviously the more you multi-class, the more wide your character is, the more stuff you can do, the more confusing it gets for people who are new, all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to put it to, in fact, I'm going to make it a, should I make it a 10-minute poll? No, I'll make it a 5-minute poll. You have 5 minutes to decide. Your time starts now. You don't have to vote right away in case you want to wait for people to be persuasive, but if you've already thought about it and you've made up your mind, the vote is open. If we do not get 50% of the vote for any one of these options by the end of the vote, we will do preferential voting. We drop off the one that was lowest and then we go again. So you don't need to like second guess the vote and be like, oh, I kind of want to go for Warlock, but not enough people are going to say that, so I'm going to vote for Fighter. Like, if you want to go for the other, if you want to be a level in anything else, then you can vote for that. There's no harm in doing so. Fighter level 2 gives us Action Surge, which is once between short rests you can take a second action on the same turn. Not a second whole turn. You don't get a second bonus action, you don't get a second movement, you don't get a second reaction. You just get the second action, which you can use to take the whatever action you want, like the attack action. So Action Surge once between short rests. It would also give you another D10 to your hit dice. Ranger level 6 gives you a second favoured enemy, so if taking favoured enemy of the Fey would be obviously useful, or taking favoured enemy of the demons. Fiends would be notable. Like, you could take Fey or Fiends very easily without breaking anything here. In your time in the Feywild, you would have been asking the Merry Gentleman a lot about the Fiends, because you knew you were destined to close the demon portal, sort of thing. So taking any, if you wanted to take a favoured enemy, if you go with Ranger 6 and you take a favoured enemy of anything, I can make it work when we go back and do the Feywild stuff. You could take giants, or you could take gnolls or something as your favoured enemy. And keep in mind that favoured enemy doesn't necessarily mean enemy. It just means that's just the title of the feature that it is. It's basically just you know a lot about this particular type of creature. So taking a favoured enemy of the Fey doesn't mean you actually hate the Fey and you have to hunt them. But you would just know a lot about them, and you'd get bonuses to track them and things like that. So I think that's it, isn't it? So 6th level Ranger gives you that stuff. 2nd level Fighter gives you Action Surge. 1st level in Artificer would give you some stuff. I can't really remember what you get at 1st level. 1st level Bard would give you, I think, Bardic Inspiration. not super useful when you're a solo campaign. First level Barbarian would give you Rage. First level Warlock would give you some Warlock spells. That spell slots that would come back on a short rest, which can be useful. First level in Wizard would give you some amount of Wizard spells and a bunch of cantrips. First level in Sorcerer would give you some... You don't get meta magic at first level, do you? You just get some Sorcerer spells, I think. Get the cantrips, a bunch of cantrips. What else? First level in Druid could be interesting. You don't get Wild Shape yet. I think you get that at level 2. But you'd get a bunch of Druid spells. And the time's up with 58% of the vote deciding Apis is going to take Fighter level 2. We're going to take Action Surge. Thankfully, Spidey has already made me an app that has both the Action Surge and bonus action already on it. So now we have an Action Surge and a bonus action button that we can use to clog up the screen even further. But Apis is a Fighter level 2, Ranger level 5. It has been decided. I have spoken. Alright, the next poll to decide then is, do we roll for our hit points or take the average? HP. Roll. Brackets. Reroll ones. Or take average. 3 minutes to decide on this one. Are we going to roll for our new HP or are we going to take the average? It works out exactly the same mathematically either way. The average, if you roll a d10 and if you roll a d10 and re-roll ones, it is the exact same average as taking the average. So, do you want to take the risk or not? There is an above 50% chance that you roll the same as you would have or better. And there is an above 50% chance that you roll the same as you would have or lower. Have we ever taken the average? I think we have so far always rolled for it, but I always give you the option. We are currently above average on hit points because we have always taken the average, and we've almost always gotten above average with it, I think. I think the last time we leveled up, we got a 3 on the dice or something. I think last time we went below average. But the gambling of rolling the hit dice makes for a better story. Yeah, I mean, I think the same moneysies, but it's your character, so you guys get to decide. Apis is a hill dwarf, which also means that you'll get a +1 on top of your whatever hit points you get. Every time you level up, you also get another hit point. So your max HP is currently 62, and if we roll, it will be whatever we roll +3. And if we don't roll, if we just take the average, then it is 9. Also, getting to 69 HP is only possible if we roll, in case that sways you. If we take the average, we're going to overshoot 69. Alright, with 83% of the vote, we are going to roll it. Everybody likes to roll the dice. Take the chance. Alright, so we are a fighter, which means that we're going to be using a d10. A d10 for our roll is going to be a nat 1. So, thankfully, with my house rules, I re-roll them. So, nobody likes ones on hit dice, do we? Instead, it's going to be a 9. Other end of the scale, almost. Alright, so we do overshoot the 69 nice, but we get 12 new hit points, taking us to a total max of 74, which is obscene. That is a lot of hit points. Well done. We now have 7 hit dice, 2 of which are fighters. Our armor class did not change when we went up because the thing that we are wearing, we haven't worked it out, but it does not help. It does not help with our armor class because we're wearing armor. Ranger and fighter both a d10. Rangers d10. Yes, they are. Actually, yeah, you're a good point. I was thinking Rangers are a d8, but no, Rangers and fighters are both d10. Also, your age is now 57. Just messing with you. What? Outlander, Chaotic Good, none of that changed. None of this goes up. Animal handling, blah de blah. Features. What did we roll? Damn you, my poor heart. What I found interesting before on the bone dice was that I rolled a 1 on the d4, a 1 on the d10, a 2 on the d6, a 2 on the d8, a 2 on the d20, a 0 on the percentage, and a 4 on the d12. So the highest number over the 7 dice was a 4. Make of that what you will. How tall are we and how much do we weigh? Good question. I don't think... So I've tried to stay away from too much description or descriptive elements of what Apis is or looks like, because it's your character and you guys can... Kind of like a silent protagonist in a video game, I want you to be able to kind of project your own ideas for what Apis is and what they look like. So what we do know is they're 54-year-old, they're non-binary, and they're a hill dwarf. You can choose what they look like and how tall they are to a certain extent. All I've really said is that Apis is somewhere around 4.5 feet tall. So give or take a few inches as you would see fit. As if you like to think of Apis as a little bit shorter, then somewhere just above 4 feet. If you like to think of Apis as taller, then somewhere just below 5 feet. But Apis is around 4.5 feet and of stocky dwarven build. Weight could have in-game consequences. Yeah, but if it comes up, I'll set it in stone, but otherwise it's not going to be important. Why do you roll dice if the bone dice always tells the truth in the first roll? Why indeed? Okay, so Apis is trying to think back to the things that they've missed. They're thinking back to the training that that Mel has mentioned doing, and they're just coming up absolutely blank. When Mel says that she's moving faster now, she's able to evade things. There's a very small glimmer of something. You feel like you were getting attacked by like a huge guy, like really muscly, like dark bronze skin, and he was attacking with something, and there's a flash of it and then it's gone. And you try and think back what you were doing. What was it? There's like you're trying to push your brain through candy floss. It's hard to remember things, but there's a moment you can hear somebody shouting faster, faster, faster in Sylvan, and they're like shouting at you, but you're not sure why. There's you're trying to force your memories to come back to you, and the more you try, the more you get a headache. The more you struggle, nothing else comes back to you. The sound of a clash of blades comes to you though, and you can kind of feel when you hear the blades clash. You can kind of feel it in your arm as well. Like you can feel like there's a memory of you striking blade against blade with someone maybe. Digging for the paper scraps of memories. Need to do this every morning. Alright, what do you want to do now, guys? You are starting to get later into the morning now, sort of mid-morning. Starting into mid-morning, and you are in an unknown forest at an unknown time of year, at a relatively unknown time of the day. And all you have to go on is that you've been given a piece of paper that says, with your abilities, you are in a unique position to help the people of Rin with a problem regarding the portals between planes. In the East Drenlark, there is a village. There you will find a friend. He can tell you more. The sentinels must be fixed. Head to the town mentioned in the note. Where the hell is that?
Pray to the memory god, if there is one, taking 20, asking for our memories. The memory god. I imagine the memory god would probably be the god of dreams, which I think is Jakipsos, the god of performing arts and that sort of thing. I don't think he would have a great purview over memories. Oh, maybe the memory god would also have some domain with the gods of knowledge, the knowledge, learning and religion, learning and teaching gods, which would be Fifka and Torigma. So you'll walk and talk, sort of gathered all of your things together, and you set off in a direction. Which direction do you want to go? Use the map we have. Look for a town on the map. There's no towns on the map. You use the mountains as a reference. You're not sure exactly what the scale of this map would be, and so you don't know whether the green dot on this map is where you are or where you need to be. But there is a green dot, and that is the only thing that is kind of stand out on this map. Chat to Mel, give her a flower as we go. Ask TomTom. You get TomTom out and you say, do you know where the village is that we're meant to be going to? Nope. No response. Cast pass without a trace as we're leaving. Ambushed by an enemy of merry gentlemen. Fastest level up ever. I knew it would be if it was fighter. I knew if you chose fighter, it'd be a super quick thing, because there's nothing to choose. You just get action surge and new hit points. TomTom didn't level up. Is the dot to the east? The dot, if the cloak that you're looking at is a map of where you are now, which is a big if the map you're looking at is a map of where you are now, and the top of the cloak is the north, as most maps would be, then the dot would be in the northwest quadrant. East Drenlark sounds like it should be in the east. Do you want to head to the east? Do you want to find running water? Do you want to detect portals? Do we get another spell? No, because you didn't level up as ranger. The dot's close to the river, so let's travel towards the river from where we can see the mountains as a reference. Alright. Find water. Alright, a bunch of people saying find water. You asked Mel if she found landmarks. She did not. It is a large expanse of forest. Do the squirrel strategy. 500 meters north, 1 kilometer west, 1.5 south until we find a path or something interesting to help us. Is that a squirrel strategy? To like spiral out from where you're going? Like go in a direction, go in another direction slightly longer, and just keep getting longer and longer. Is that called the squirrel strategy? Alright, I think most people are agreed that we will try and find water. Water will usually flow downhill. Civilizations are usually built around water. If we follow water, we will usually get to some kind of civilization. Or, at the very least, we'll get to some kind of clearing where we can ask some animals of where we're going. So we will do a survival check to see if we can find some water. You have forest bonus as a ranger, which is good because that was a 4. Your forest bonus, however, takes it to a 12, so still not bad. Oops, turned my coin purse off instead of the dice cam. With a 12 survival, you manage to. It takes you a good hour or so to get your bearings until you are confident in which way is north. The mountains are definitely in the east, and as you have headed sort of east-ish direction, in case this East Drenlark is there, as you head towards the mountains, you're more likely to find rivers running faster, in the foothills of mountains. So you head towards the mountains. It takes you about an hour or so before you find a decent-sized river. I will also say that with your 12 survival, you can tell that the forest here is not doing well. The more you walk towards the east, the more diseased and nasty the forest looks. There are trees that are dead and dying and decaying here through things that you can't tell why. It looks kind of like the dead forest of between Shadridge and Fondurg, only it's not like that forest is decayed because of termites and because of just a hell of a an out of control termite problem, which has completely killed all of the trees there. And then the trees being killed by the termites have slowly died and just withered while still standing.
This one looks like it's been withered by magic, perhaps. They're not all in one. They're not all dead in one place. There are trees just dotted around that kind of look dead, and then the more you go east, the more decayed they seem to become. I'm going to get you a percentage check just real quick here to see whether you come across something as you walk. Would it be likely? It'd be highly unlikely, but it's possible. So, oh, okay. You'll come close. Can we cut a dead tree to see if it bleeds? You get up close and you get a knife out and you cut one of the dead trees. It doesn't bleed. Nothing comes out of the decayed wood. It seems like it is an actually dead tree. There is an increase to this decay as you walk east, still looking for signs of river. And eventually you come across an iron fence, a large sort of, let's say, I think it's about 10 feet tall fence made of wrought iron, and there's an iron gate around it, and it is a sort of circular fence around a hillock, a small hill. The trees have been completely cleared from about 10 feet on either side of this fence, and the hill has no trees on it. It barely even has grass on it. It is a mostly dirt hill with some amount of grass on it. And in the center of this hill, right in the top, is a huge discolored patch. There, like a huge patch where nothing is growing at all. Large square, sort of, 60 feet wide kind of area of the ground at the top of this hill. You haven't found water yet. What do you want to do? So an inverted pit. Yes, an inverted pit is what you find. Any signs of the ones responsible for the carnage? Tracks, maybe? Yeah, new survival check. You were looking for something else with your survival before. So now that you are looking for tracks, new survival check. What is that? That's a 5. 5 plus 8 is 13. With a 13, you can tell that there are tracks around. There are tracks, not like really clear visible tracks, but just evidence of passage more than tracks. There, to and from the iron gate of this hill, there are some tracks that would indicate that several people have moved through here at some point a few weeks ago, maybe. Like, it's just general absence of grass in that area would indicate that people have come and gone, but nothing that you can pick out with a 13 as like individual footprints. Is the gate unlocked? It seems to be standing ajar. Yes, the gate is standing ajar. Is it a burial mound? Could be. It's huge though. Poke at the gate with a stick. Are we going to pass without a trace? Anybody do we want to pass without a trace? Oh yeah, somebody said that before we left the area before, didn't we? And I forgot to do it. Thumbs up, thumbs down, pass without a trace. Just to give us a little bit extra stealth in case there's something here. Can we look to see if the tracks lead to a path? The tracks don't lead in any particular direction. They just kind of lead into the forest. Alright, we're mostly saying no, we're not going to pass without a trace here, just in case we need the spell slots for something else. We pick up a rock and lob it at the gate, and it tang, tang, tang. The gate is hit by the rock and nothing reacts to it. There's no birds take off from the trees, and at that you realise you haven't heard any birds in a while, actually. Just walk away, Apis. Just walk away. It's never going to happen, right? What do you guys want to do? Poke it with a stick? Get closer? Pull the gate open with a stick, don't touch it. Alright, so you walk forwards, you pick up a stick, you get close enough to the gate to prod at the gate. No reaction. You open the gate. You are still outside of the gate, but the gate has opened. There's been no reaction to anything. You're looking through the gate, and it looks just the same as when you were looking through the fence. Can we check for any animal life with our detect something spell? We can if you want. Yeah. Our the primeval awareness. Mel, are there any insects around? She sticks her head out from behind you on your little perch.
I'm not feeling many creatures around here. There are some insects around, some termites and things in the dead trees. There are lots of bugs under the ground, but I don't feel like there is much to eat around here, so not many bugs.
Walk in. We need the cliffhanger so Rob can get on with his Sunday. We're supposed to be finding civilization, aren't we? So find out where we are. Shouldn't we get on with that? Rob, if Apis dies before they remember, do we still get the missing Feywild time? Yes, you will. Look for traps and illusions. Investigation check to look out specifically for traps and illusions. 4 plus your investigation of 3, 7. With a 7, you're pretty sure there's no traps or illusions here. Anyone here? You call out. There's no response. Your voice doesn't echo. It's immediately deadened by the surrounding trees. Any buildings behind the gate? Just a big empty hill. There is a definite path that leads up from the inside of the gate to the top of the hill. And there is what looks to be a fallen tree, like broken up firewood, essentially, near the top of the hill, and then a large section of dirt where it's flat and nothing's growing there. Check our map cloak. You check your map cloak. In the time that you've been walking, the green dot has not moved. Map cloak back on. Oh, back in the bag. Panpipes? Did the Fae jinx our dice? That was an evil smile. We need to come back later when we know more about what we're dealing with. Can we get a vote to go another direction versus go through the gate? Want to go another direction? Absolutely. Through the gate or move on. Investigate the hill or keep looking for water. You were looking for a source of water or keep investigating the hill. Mel could fly up the top of the hill for us. Let's get to the answer of this question first. Alright, 58% of Apis decides we're going to keep looking for water. You say, Mel, could you fly... I'm going to go around, but could you fly like over the top of it? Keep a wide berth of it, but fly over and see if you can see anything and meet me on the other side.
Of course, Apis, yes.
She sets off up. Sad, neglected pit noises. She takes off, flies over the top of the gate and forwards across the way. You walk around clockwise around the hill, and you look in. You're watching Mel as she flies over. Nothing seems to grab her or jump up. Nothing in there seems to be disturbed by her presence. You keep an eye on the forest as you're walking around as well. You get around to the other side of the this iron fence, and Mel has flown down towards you, and she says, "There was nothing in there that I saw. Just a big patch of dirt where nothing is growing." I love that her buzzing has an accent too. You continue on a little while further after this strange interaction there, and you eventually find the sounds of water. You find the sounds of a rushing river, and you follow the sounds until you get to it. And then you start to follow it downstream, away from the mountains, and hoping to find whatever it is that you're looking for. I think... Nah, I'm not just going to artificially come up with a cliffhanger for you. I think that's a good place to leave it. So you follow the stream downhill into the forest, away from the sort of decrepit area of the forest that you've passed through, and we'll pick up there next time. Thank you very much for joining me, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Wait! Stop! Before you go, let me know your favourite part of the episode in the comments below. Thank you.